economy. I mean, Trump before he got elected was talking about how the GDP numbers and the unemployment numbers and all these numbers are completely fake. They just make them up. And they basically are made up. I mean, they don't really count how many people are out of the workforce. If you have three jobs, if you're literally somebody that has to do three different part-time jobs, um, that doesn't count as you not. Or, I mean, that's essentially um, what is that? I mean, think about it. Being having to do three jobs is probably worse than being unemployed. I mean, that's literally being a slave. That's because you don't have one full time job that pays you enough, so you got to have three part time jobs. Uh, that's what we got. So Trump, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure these numbers that we're talking about with the unemployment, he's counting that person three times probably. And I know for a fact for the last, I don't know, 8 to 10 years, I've been part time. Even though I make really good money, I mean, I make way more than minimum wage. I'm working part time. Now I do it because I want to do it that way because I don't really want to work full time to be honest. But um, I can't. I mean, the way I can't find a good job. I can't find a job that is equivalent to my knowledge and my skill level, and that pays well. Um, because I'm not a salesman. If I had a lot more salesman skill, I could get some of these higher paid jobs, even though it's a technical job. You got to be a good bullshit artist. I mean, you got to really kiss some ass and do some stuff. And I've tried. I just can't learn. Some people who are technical can't learn that shit. So here's what we have today. We don't really have any good jobs. All of them are part time. Like I said, my job is part time, even though it's a high pay rate, hourly rate is pretty high. I got no pension. I got no fucking medical insurance. If it wasn't for the VA veteran, I would have no medical insurance. I got no dental. I got no, I mean, I got savings. I got savings just because that's the kind of person I am. I save, I do the right thing. I'm like really good with money. So in other words, I could take a certain amount of money and live like a king, whereas somebody else with the same amount of money, or could make five times more than me, and they just blow it and it's gone. So I got savings only because I'm very good with money. But a typical middle class person has no savings whatsoever. Matter of fact, some people say a $500 emergency would be devastating to most people. Also, nobody owns a home anymore. They've transferred all of our homes to the rich. Okay, they've all been transferred with this real estate scam under Bush that started and under Obama that just took off. I mean, they foreclosed on so many people under Obama, it isn't even funny. And really, what foreclosing is, they just stole your house. Okay, they say, oh well, you should have been smart enough to read the fine print. You should have done this, should have done that. I can tell you right now, that is complete nonsense because people were scammed. They were a little bit greedy. You could say that they were a little bit greedy. But you know what? If a con artist comes up against you and you're a tiny bit greedy, you can't really be blamed for being totally raped and lied to and just, all right, it was fraud. Okay, this is fraud on a massive scale. So they stole our houses. They stole everybody's houses. Now, I'll just touch on this, and maybe these are going to be my next videos. I don't want to focus on any of this bad shit anymore because this bad shit is depressing. But here's the thing: I think U.S. empire's over. I think the globalists and the deep state, even though they've been working overtime, and I guess we could credit Trump with a little bit of this too. I think he's fighting the deep state and actually, if not literally winning against the deep state and the globalists, at least um, exposing some of this shit, right? And Trump's a billionaire, so he doesn't have the answers. He's a capitalist, to the bone, I guess you could say. So he's not going to come up with the best answers. He's going to give tax cuts. He's going to give regulation cuts. He's going to lie about the economy and all this other stuff. But the deep state and the globalists losing their power over everybody is really a huge thing that cannot be underestimated. So that's awesome. Also, we have this automation and technology advancements that are just amazing. And part of that is unlimited energy. So when we have unlimited energy, that you can do everything. As soon as you have unlimited, basically free energy, which thorium, nuclear, geothermal, there's a million ways to do it. I mean, um, once we grab and harness solar energy at a high level and be able to store it, I mean, there's all these ways that we have just unlimited, essentially free energy. And all we have to do is begin to start implementing the collectors, the ways to collect it, and the ways to store it. And maybe not even store it as much as just being able to collect it with some of these systems. Once that happens, then everything else becomes food production becomes a no-brainer. Desalinating all of the oceans. Now, here's a little interesting tidbit. If you desalinate the oceans, not only are you getting free water, not only are you getting salt and other byproducts, but also you're getting a lowered lower the ocean, lower the. So if you thought the oceans are rising and going to cause us problems at some point, how about a couple of huge desalination plants that are just pumping around and reducing that possibility? So I don't know if the ocean. See, this whole thing about I don't want to go too off on the global warming or whatever, but there are some of these worries that maybe not even a worry, not even a concern. And then along with this though, here's the scary part. We need a transition from what we have today, capitalism, money for labor, this stuff, to a more of a well, some people call it a resource-based economy. Some people call it, just uh, like a level one civilization, Star Trek type, whatever. But once we have the robots, automation, energy, and it's just creating an abundance of the food, the water, and the shelter, um, money for labor is not really going to be a thing. I mean, and actually, I think um, Andrew Yang is already talking about this. He's talking about $1,000 a month UBI, Universal Basic Income, which I think is a good stepping stone. It's a good transition period while we're still having to have money. But I think the real answer is going to be just literally creating the automated production, localized in like city units that'll have all their food, water, and everything produced, basically automated, and just basically be able to just give them away. Just water becomes free, energy becomes free, internet becomes free, food becomes free, clothing becomes free, shelter becomes free, and you know the basic necessities just become basically so cost effective and automated that nobody has to pay for that anymore. So that's really, I think, the future. But like I said, the scary point, which I think they're losing power, the globalists, these crazy billionaires, they're dying off like flies. They're quitting positions of power like you wouldn't believe. I mean, we got Rockefeller dying, we got other people dying, we got Bush Sr. dead. I mean, a lot of these really evil people that have been doing all this stuff have died. They're out of power. They're going away. Nobody's bringing them back. And so the future could be bright. And I guess I'll leave it there. I'll go into probably more of these solutions on other videos because I think the solutions are really what we need to talk about. But I did want to get a video here of just how I see the brief history of the U.S. economy and just how the middle class was destroyed, just so we know. I mean, just to put it on the table that, look, there was the billionaires. I call them the billionaires. It's not every billionaire, but it's most billionaires and millionaires created this situation. It was planned. The whole thing. This is the thing that cracks me up with my libertarian friends is they always talk about how, oh, we don't want a planned economy. We don't want to. Oh, that's why we don't want government planning. You know what, dude? No matter what situation we're talking about, it's going to be planned. I mean, these billionaires, these capitalists, these people have planned all that has happened. It has all been planned. This has been a planned economy. Okay, so it's all part of the plan. They've planned every step of the way. They've gone through and they've done every step. Everything you see has been, um, you know, not every. I mean, it's kind of one of those things that you put into place. Everybody has the overall idea of what it's supposed to do, and everybody does their part. It's kind of like I was in the army, and I know in the army I don't have to know all the different pieces. I don't have to see the big picture. Even though I am the type of person in my IT career and stuff like that that I have a ability to be able to see the big picture and also the detailed little stuff equally well. So that's kind of a skill that not a lot of people have. But in the army, they force you not to look at the big picture. They don't want you ever to see the big picture. They only want you to see your little job that you really want to do. And actually, with these billionaires, they want the same result. They want to see the big picture. They want to have all the big plans. And they want everybody else, like the millionaires. There's layers of millionaires, okay? Have you ever wondered why at some point in the 80s, 90s, and whatever, all these like people in the media become more and more biased, more and more whatever, and they're millionaires. Why are these people getting millions of dollars a year? What do they do that they earn millions of dollars a year? And then you got all these layers of people like lawyers. Have you ever seen a lawyer that jumps from a couple $100,000 a year to millionaires? What is it that makes a millionaire lawyer and a couple $100,000 a year lawyer? And the same thing with doctors. What makes a doctor jump from millions of dollars a year and researchers and all these people? Why everybody, and even sports and athletes, they've done the same thing. Why are these guys making millions of dollars a year? I mean, all they do is run around. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from them physically. I mean, some of them, a lot of time, a lot of the idea, they're just being pummeled and beaten, and it's not good for them. But some people, uh, I don't take anything away from their talent, but really, millions of dollars per year for what? And I'll tell you what, the billionaires are using all the millionaires. They're paying them millions of dollars a year to be to be cogs in their propaganda. So in other words, everybody who's a millionaire is and like actors. Why did actors? I mean, you have actors that were like the greatest actors in history. They made tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands on their best film. Now they're getting millions and millions of dollars. Why are they getting millions and millions? And then you got all these other actors at the same moment who can't get any films. Or if they do, it's like a film that they got to make in their garage or something, right? And they're like 10 times more talented than these other people. What is it about all these millionaires? Well, I'll tell you, the millionaires are the propaganda wing of the billionaires. I think I'm going off on too much of a tangent with a different story here. I just gone off to a completely different thing. But this is how it works. I just want to explain how this works. This has all been planned. The billionaires have gotten together, a good number of them. It doesn't take all of them. It only takes some of them. Even the billionaires that are the low-level billionaires, that are like the new billionaires, like a Jeff Zuckerberg. I mean, not Jeff Zuckerberg. Yeah, I think it's Jeff Zuckerberg, or Twitter, the Twitter guy, Jack, dipshit. What's his name, Jack? All these people, they're the same thing. These are the new billionaires, so they're more like the millionaires, where they're just minions. They're just doing their job. They're just spreading propaganda. And you'll notice if any of these people, these talking heads on TV, if you ever hear them say the truth, or you ever hear them, let's put it this way, they can say some things that are true as long as it goes along with the narrative. The minute they get off track on the narrative, they are gone quicker than you swing your hat. And they know that. So they don't get off track too much. And by the way, I didn't say it. I don't think I said it, but at least I can say it now. Every politician also. You ever wonder why a politician's making $100,000, $200,000 a year after 2, 3 years? They're a 10 millionaire. I mean, how does that happen? I mean, they've been paid off. They're bought off. Everybody that's making a 10 millionaire or millionaire inside of Congress or even the president, any president that's gone from zero to millions is a crook. They're a thief, they're a criminal, and they're doing the bidding of the billionaires. And that's as simple as it gets. So I guess I'll shut it down. I'll do some other videos in the near future, but hopefully this makes sense. And again, if anybody listens to this and they see any of these points that I'm making and have any type of information to fill in or something I got totally wrong, which is possible, please let me know. All right, thank you.